Welcome to Ask the Pro. I'm Chris Dufay, and this is where I'm here to give you what's needed to create the online business, the money, and importantly, the freedom that you want. The Ask the Pro show has been upgraded, and it's also got a new home, which is turningproacademy.com. Now, if you go to turningproacademy.com, all the podcast episodes, video episodes, and in-depth articles are there waiting for you right now. Plus, if you go to turningproacademy.com/start here, then you can get access to the free coaching guides. So if you want to know how to double or triple your clients in just a few weeks, or if you want to know how to start and grow your online business, be sure to go to turningproacademy.com/start here to get access to it now. Welcome to Ask the Pro. I'm Chris Dufay, and this is where I'm giving you what's needed to create the online business, the money, freedom, and the life that you want. Now, this episode is pretty awesome if I don't say so myself. I bring on a mate that I've known for a year now, and he's doing amazing work. Alon Shabo. He's gone from doing great things with his online fitness business to now working with top ballers as copywriting and in marketing, now to also building a marketing and media company of his own. Now, I really love Alon for a lot of reasons. One of them is that he's to the point, no fluff, and it works. So this interview is us just jamming, and we go into some important tangents, but I know as you running or starting your business can relate to these important points, because we cover things such as why imitate and then innovate is one of Alon's go-to pieces to start off with when it comes to advice. Why we don't want you hoarding more information the whole time, how to build your authority in your market, how to write great copy and stand out from the crowd, and so much more. Now, this episode is brought to you thanks to my nutrition and fitness company, My Body Blends. So if you want high-grade nutrition and supplements that are designed to give you the body for what's needed to make your life simple and the expert coaching, head on over to mybodyblends.com. Also, if you think you are good enough to come on board as an ambassador to get special rates and have your clients taking the products you trust and you earn the rewards on, then be sure to head on over to mybodyblends.com and apply. Also, if you are loving this, then share the love forward, leave a review on iTunes, and if I call out your review, then I will want you to get in contact with me, because I will be giving you the online fitness business blueprint, the program, and it will be for free, saving you $200 as well. Also, make sure you head on over to turningproacademy.com. This is where the free guide, especially if you're wanting the actual step-by-step process to how to double or triple your clients in a month or more, how to start or even how to then grow your online fitness business, or how to just have clients coming to you, whether it's online or your face-to-face fitness business. So head on over there, because there's the show notes from this episode and every other episode waiting for you over at turningproacademy.com. Now let's get started with Alon. Alon, thank you so much for coming onto the show, brother. I'm pumped to really have you here, because I know you've got some really deep insights right now that I know the listeners really going to be able to put into action. You're a man of actually some serious results right now, and I just like your jibe. I like the way you do what you do, and I think it's got some real authenticity behind it. It's got some real integrity behind it, and I think these are a couple of key critical factors, and especially when it comes to what we're going to dive in today. But before we do any of that, I just want to say, mate, thank you so much for taking the time and being here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome to be here.
All right, brother. Now, let's just do this real quick right now, because I know this is going to kind of blow people out of the water. Who is Alon? Why are you so phenomenal?
Okay, let's, how do I elevator pitch that? So, long story short, I got started online in the fitness space, was like a online fitness coach. Within 12 months, that business was earning close to $100,000 a year, and I was a new personal trainer at the time. Is your audience fitness people. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, a lot of.
Okay. So I was a newly certified trainer when I started online training, which some people say might be unethical, but I like to think I knew my shit and people did get results. But within a year, I was able to go to expert status and kind of become friends with all the big dogs in the industry and get featured alongside them in publications like bodybuilding.com. And after the first 6 months of just kind of penetrating, I had a waiting list of people to work with me, and I stopped in-person training. From there, I got into marketing consulting. I work with a lot of authors right now, and I basically just get them high-level clients. So if anyone's listening to sell stuff that's like $5,000 plus and has a proven business that actually helps people, talk to me.
That you're the man.
And and I'm building a new media company called Market Bosses. It's going to launch Q1 2017, and the mission there is to make entrepreneurship a bit less lonely and dangerous for everybody out there.
That is brilliant, and that is something as well that we're going to have to. I'm going to have to bring you back on and really talk about that, because that's obviously a whole new ballpark that's so important. Now, obviously, when it comes to you, in such a short amount of time, building the authority in a very saturated market, when you kind of look back to reverse engineer those steps, what were the key points you take away?
Okay. So step one is it's a lesson a mentor drilled into my head, and it's just basically imitate and then innovate. So when I first got started, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had no background in internet marketing or any of that ninja stuff. So I just saw people who were doing it well. When I got started in like 2013, it was John Romanello he was killing it as a fitness coach. The biggest thing I learned from him is that people aren't buying the coaching, they're buying the actual coach. So the whole business philosophy I extract from that is be as awesome as you can. If you provide a service where people want to work with you or think they're working with you, your job is to just be as amazing as you can. Everyone's putting out the same information, more or less, every fitness book, everything. Sometimes everyone puts their own spin on it, but at the end of the day, we're all selling the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's about differentiating yourself and not being afraid to kind of stick out. For me, being fucking outrageous was the key, and talking about sex, cocaine, and fat loss, and a little bit out there, trying to get people who aren't just fitness dorks interested in fitness.
Did you find that was easy and interesting because that was you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Most of my customers were all millennials. Basically, I'm a millennial, and they like the whole fun approach to fitness and real things. I'm like, dude, you want to get laid? Do this workout program before this music festival so you can fucking dance with your abs showing. And just like real life stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is something so important. I don't want to just kind of flash over the person tuning in right now is be yourself, because at the end of the day, you can't fake that, but that's probably the most interesting part of what you've got to bring to the table. I feel so many people are just holding themselves back and they're trying to be so vanilla the whole time. And it's in the world where we're talking about online fitness, if you're vanilla, you're just going to be shunned right off to the kind of the back end of the internet and forgotten.
People are blind to you. They won't even see you. They'll just look right over you. I think people are afraid to put themselves out there. What I've learned is the Facebook statuses or the emails I've sent that I was most nervous about, that they're most authentic, and I'm like, I shouldn't hit this. Those are the ones that were the most successful for me. Yeah. And it's interesting because it's the fucking internet, right? Everyone is doing the same shit. All these marketers are following the same templates. And what happens is the customers, they just get blind to it. They're blind. They just see it over and over from everyone. So when someone is out there and just unapologetically themselves, there's people that will connect with them. You know, I don't connect with everyone. There's a lot of people that hate me. The goal is to be a bit polarizing with, if you're marketing yourself, you know?
Yeah, totally. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Now, when it came to the imitate then innovate for yourself, Bud, who did you want to imitate when you first jumped in the pond?
John Romanello.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Was there anyone else?
Roman Fitness Systems. It was mostly him, and we spoke about the whole information diet thing earlier. Yeah. I think that's wise advice for everyone, veterans, newbies, is to just stick to like one or two gurus.
Yes.
You know, I look back and I remember I was just following 1,000 people's marketing, and this person says this, and this person says this, and look what he's doing. And like now I'm on the other side of people's marketing. I work with a couple like multi-7-figure businesses behind the scenes, and you know, like things that you might see or our competition might spy on, they have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. And a lot of times things are absolutely shit, and they look great on the outside.
Yes. Okay. Really good point. Now, when it comes to you piecing together what your marketing is, what was your innovate? How did you want to actually take next steps after that?
I mean, that's just like kind of business model marketing stuff, but on the main philosophy, and this is something I learned in school, it's called TOMA, top of mind awareness. So I wanted to be known as a fitness guy when I got started, right? One of the first things I did was a professional photo shoot. Yeah. So I have, you can see my picture, it's similar to yours, a fitness guy with the arms crossed and like pumped up. And then I started writing about fitness on Facebook daily. That's how I started building momentum in my first followers. And it's just about staying relevant. So I don't need people to convert right away, but I want them when they think fitness to be like, oh, Alon, like Alon, you know, like I remember his status yesterday. Yeah. So, yeah, I got a little off.
That's where I want to keep it there, because there's no need to make it any more complicated. There's no need to kind of try and throw any more 66-step process into what's going on. That's exactly what you're doing. Now,
absolutely not.
So much of the time people are talking about, okay, and you brought it up, say, getting into bodybuilding.com or any of the major publications. How were the steps that you took to go into that field?
Okay, that starts with learning to write or hiring a writer for some people. That's a whole nother podcast, learning to write. I'll just say that I've been journaling. I use an app that emails me every day and asks me to write. It's called a Mail Diary, maildiary.net. Yeah. I've been doing that for close to a decade, and I can see my writing evolve from there. But writing just gets better through repetition and like practice, just like a goddamn muscle. So my advice would be to write every day. I'm personally trying to email every day. Yep. That's something I'm working on. But so the steps to doing that was I just started writing on Facebook. I started learning what people are receptive to. And that goes same with sales copy. Like, you don't know what your unique voice is until you keep putting stuff out there, and you can start seeing what works and what doesn't. Yep. And over time, after like a lot of experiences, you just have your secret sauce. So I was writing on my own blog, which got no traffic, basically, but I had samples. So then I could pitch a smaller blog. Like, for example, back in the time, it was like Confident. Yeah. And here's a tip. There's so many media companies like lifehack.org that are just dying for people to write content for them. Yeah. And they have crazy perceived authority. And people are like, wow, you write for Lifehack? I'm like, dude, Lifehack harasses me. And they harass all their writers because they want people to put content on their platform so they get more traffic. Yeah. So I would write for those kind of smaller blogs that are searching for writers. And there's a ton. And if you have any decent kind of sample to show so they can screen you to make sure you're not like a Nigerian or something, then you're good. Yeah.
It's good. Okay, good. One,
and then
especially with the writing, I'll back you up on that, because especially when writing my last book, it was really funny because the editor was like, the writing at the start was like, this is shit, and at the end it was like, this is really good. So then I had to go back and like rewrite the shit stuff. It's just repetition. You've just got to do it. It's just like, how do you become good at painting? Well, you got to paint. How do you become good at writing? Well, you got to write at the end of the day. You just got to put the hours in for it. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in a split with so much more for you. Now, I know you're listening and tuning in because you know how important your health is and how this can also catapult your business. This is why I'm very happy to say that this podcast is sponsored by My Body Blends and my favorite, the Superfood Elixir, the powerful greens drink. Now, this is designed specially to boost energy, aids detoxification, enhances the ability to burn fat, supports healthy carbohydrate metabolism, and best of all, is voted best tasting greens drink. Now, myself and the My Body Blends team are looking for ambassadors to join. So you and your clients get the health benefits plus adding in a strong income stream for you and your business. The ambassador program, which is by application only, means you get exclusive access to sell My Body Blends products like Superfood Elixir to your clients, plus giving you the special ambassador pricing and bonuses. So once you become an ambassador, you can join the other top health and fitness players that are adding thousands to their week's income. Now, there is only a limited number of ambassadors we are taking on board, as this is a tribe leading the way together. So to apply and to join, go to mybodyblends.com/ambassador or add the checkout code that is Turning Pro, all one word, when you're going to get your own Superfood Elixir to order. Plus, you're going to get free shipping and a bonus to save yourself over $250 instantly. So just use that coupon code Turning Pro in the checkout and you can save over $250 right now, all on mybodyblends.com. If you don't mind, I actually want to try and take a jump out of the actual fitness world right now. Let's kind of jump into what you're doing to help with authors and working behind the scenes in the strategy and marketing. How did this actually begin for you? How did that transition for you to go, okay, I want out of this and I want to start doing this?
So I had an info product launch in 2014 that it bombed. And I invested money into it. I recruited affiliates. I did a lot of hard work, and initially it bombed.
Who's done that before?
Yeah. Of course, right in your head, you're like, "That's it. I'm gonna be rich after this." if I can bombed, and it kind of sucked. So I started writing to my list about business, my fitness list, and I would just be like, "Yeah, small business sucks. Like this isn't fun." I'd write about my failures, and I would be like, "Don't be a pussy. Just go for it. It'll be worth it at the end." And someone on my list actually reached out to me, and he was the assistant of one of these authors, and I can't name drop because I'm under NDA, but a super famous dude. And he reached out, and he's like, "Hey, we're looking for someone to help us email. Are you interested?" So I started, and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I just wasted so much money on this launch. Like, yeah." So I started writing emails for this other company in the personal development space. And from there, the relationship just kind of escalated. And my main strength, I would say, is writing emails, because I can do that in kind of a unique voice that engages people and like actually makes them read, which is super valuable skill today. If you can get people to read what you write, damn. And you can even see on Facebook, like the trends are going towards video and stuff. So especially with all the video and everything, if you can get someone to read an entire message, you're winning.
Yeah,
that's a money skill.
Yeah. So how did it just evolve from there? It was just starting writing emails, and then it was like, they were like, "Hey, Alon, shit, you're good. Let's do more. Other people, get on board. This guy's good." Like, how is the process working?
Yeah, it started with emails, like anything when you work with a client. And especially now, if I'm trying to pitch a client, I'll also be like, let's start small just to see if we can work together. And yeah, the emails were a win, and that kind of grew. And running my fitness business, I understood the whole entrepreneurial thinking of business. So I saw areas for improvement in the business, and basically hit a couple big wins, like upsold like 75% of the members into like a yearly program versus a monthly program. So just did like really big things that transformed that business.
Was it big things for that business, but small things or small steps in your mind?
I mean, yeah, I would think it's pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, from a guy who's read every business book.
Yes,
and Chris, like we met last year at DCBKK. The guy goes conference to conference looking for golden nuggets. Like I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I feel like I know everything, and I know that's the most ignorant thing to say, but I'm not seeking more knowledge in that realm. I'm seeking more experimentation and trying new things.
And that's exactly, it's really funny because we were both like, oh my God, it's been so long since we've chatted. And we're like, and we're both not going back because it's not about just trying to hoard and slut information the entire time. It's like, actually, can I put this into use? What's the use of having the entire bookshelf filled? But the problem is you're not actually executing, you're not actually putting that into play.
Absolutely. I think that's a cause of anxiety, and I see myself fall into the same traps. Like I have this big project, and then I'll be like, let me read a book about this.
Yep.
And then I'm like, dude, this is productive procrastination, and it's how I command attention and sell things on the internet. People read my sales messages, and it's productive procrastination. They're like, oh wow, like, yeah, they think they're learning something, but it's really just infotainment. They're just procrastinating.
Everyone does it. The addiction of distraction.
I do it too.
Yeah,
I do it too. Absolutely.
Every day. Now, I kind of want to go back to what you were saying before when you were starting to write emails for the new people. You were starting to make some big wins. And this is something interesting because I've actually taken on 2 companies' marketing strategy roles. And I was like, oh, hey, there's a really big gap. There's a really big hole that you're not doing, and started running advertising for it. And then from one day seminar made 30K. And then it was like, okay, you'll do it next week. And you did the 30K again. I was like, well, we can just continue to repeat this. He's like, oh, I was like, we just built like a 7-figure stream going into this is pretty easy for you. And he was loving it. And I was like, okay, it's interesting because every time you've come to the plate right now, and I don't want the listener to miss this, you've always added so much more value to it. You've always come to it, say, this is myself, but you're giving what the people in the fitness world, what they wanted. I want to go to a music festival. I want to get the 6-pack out, and I want to feel good about myself. Or when you start writing emails for a company, you want them to be making sales. And you probably saw like, hey, you're not upselling people to a yearly membership rather than a monthly membership. Like, are you seeing the drop? Is no one else seeing this? Okay, let's do this. And then suddenly you're King Kong in the world because you are delivering the results. How do you help someone continue to build that kind of mindset and momentum?
Can you rephrase that question?
How do you help someone deliver the result they need or continue to use what they need to build their own business or build someone else's business? Because you've always come to the plate wanting to bring more value, but I feel like a lot of people aren't doing that, and they're kind of, as we kind of said before, they're kind of being a little bit vanilla. So how do you help someone kind of give the kick up the arse so they are able to then start bringing more to the table?
Drink some coffee. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking.
Okay, that's all good, and this is a good thing because I think
how to drive somebody into action, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Stop being a bitch, dude. I'm not much of a self-development guy. Just do it. If that's what you want, maybe their intentions aren't aligned.
Okay.
I don't know. People don't take action because they're either not interested or they're afraid. So stop being a pussy or find out what really motivates you, man. Maybe you're barking up the wrong tree.
That's really good. Okay. When it comes to building authority with what you're doing now, have you taken any imitation or innovation steps?
I think I have, yeah. So I entered the marketing consulting world. I told you I started writing emails for this client. And I'm like, wow, this pays well. I'm good at it. I enjoy it. It's less stressful than trying to make a business constantly work, and et cetera. So I kind of broke into the copywriting, advertising, marketing consulting space. And I see plenty of consultants who have been around for so long and they're struggling and chasing clients and up and down. And I've been consistent, with the same 2 clients for the past 6 months that are each paying me, $5,000 to $7,000 each, not including bonus incentives.
Yeah.
So I've maintained a nice income with just 2 clients. I'm never chasing clients.
Yeah.
And I have done some things, for example, when I first got started and I was the new guy trying to pitch people to work with me, like, hey, look, people would be like, oh, send me samples. So I wrote a report, which I have also used as a lead magnet too. And it's a 40-page report on copywriting based on what I do, on my strength. It's on copywriting and funnels and email marketing. So it's 40 pages written in my voice, and it's written very persuasively. And then on the inside of that report, there's also a sample of my most successful sales letter with a breakdown of what made it work. And people love that. And to get to that sales letter, they have to read about 20 to 30 pages or skim 20 to 30 pages of me just dropping my most valuable knowledge bombs.
Yeah. Okay. And if you don't mind, Alon, I'd really like to kind of take this towards a copywriting route, just because this is something at the moment that I'm like really interested in and really just like frothing on. Where did you firstly learn to write copy, or how did this skill evolve?
It's a funny story. When I first started my fitness business in 2013, it was an interesting time. I was broke. I was living at my grandma's house. And when you live at your grandma's house, it's awesome because you're hustling hard. You're like, holy shit. Like, there's people right now living at their grandma's houses and they're coming for me and you.
Yeah.
Because we're too comfortable, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, my grandma just brought me a book from a garage sale called The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy. And
that's so funny. It's actually, it's by my bed. It's upstairs.
That's funny. It's not the book I recommend when people are like, how should I get started copywriting? But it just got me down that rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. And it got me super interested. I was like, wait, I could write a letter and make $1 million, which hasn't happened yet, but there's been wins. Like I had an email list, and then I started implementing specific things from there. I'm like, oh shit, sales are coming in. Like, wow, finally. So yeah, that was the main driver of my business. So I got started with that book. I went down the rabbit hole. I can recommend my 3.
I'd love that. Let's do it. Totally.
Number 1 is the Adweek Copywriting Handbook by Joseph Sugarman. I hope you have it. It's real good. Boom. Legend. Let's see if you have number 2. Number 2 is the Boron Letters, Gary Halbert.
Shit, I don't have that.
That's about copy, but it's also about just kind of getting customers, right? Yep. And it's totally written about direct mail back in the day, but it's the same principles. And number 3, after you've read those 2, is Breakthrough Advertising, which is really dense and dry, but it's scientific.
There is so many good stuff on. I'm just looking at, there's so much good stuff on copy out there, and it's, again, I just want to hammer something home. It's a skill that you have to continue to work on. Like, you've got to craft this so much. And I found myself I was the same when I kind of first, I was like, you can write a letter and make money? Like, what? Like, money in the bank, let's go. But it's obviously something you kind of work on and you get your own flavor. Now, I've got something interesting for you, Alon. When you write copy for someone else, how do you start to create that new voice come through?
So with one of my clients, I've created a completely new voice. I'm just ghostwriting on behalf of a fictional person that we agreed to make up. But I'll write about another authority I write for, and I write in his voice. Yep. I mean, it's quite simple. I get on the phone with them for 30 minutes just to understand some of their things. I have them send me their previous emails or whatever communication I'm writing in, just to kind of adopt tone. And I send them a questionnaire, which asks me a lot about their customers and who I'm writing to. It's not hard at all. And what I found is when you make the person you're writing for seem smart and stuff, like, they love it. That's, as long as the writing's good, the whole adopting voice is just a matter of embedding specific greetings and specific words, and that's it. Like, some people write in a more entertaining style. Some people I probably would not be able to model because they're just so unique and so out there.
Yeah. What a cool journey. You've been on a really, really interesting journey. And this is really why I wanted to get you on here, because I think it's been really interesting how you've started the online business in the fitness world. You made some really great wins. You also just got to the point where it was just like, I'm not totally into this. Like you said, I'd had the launch, it bombed, and that took real balls to say first up, wow, that really bombed. Like, that sucks. Because I'm sure you know a lot of other people as well that continue to try and keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and they're just not getting that traction. And it's just like, maybe you've got to take a different path. Maybe you've got to change what's going on. And this is something you're doing so well, and something I really want to bring you back onto as you launch this new company, because you're talking about a realm right now that is so goddamn needed for people to understand, and where you're actually going to being able to build a team, build a culture, build something beyond what is just ourselves sitting in our office. Like, this is cool and this is fantastic. And there's so much more. And if someone wants to take a bigger path rather than just being like a solopreneur, then you're developing some serious skills that are needed to make that happen.
Absolutely.
This has been fun. I really enjoyed this. We should talk more often.
Absolutely, man.
All right.
We got a little scattered.
No, this is good. I know we went on some head-snapping tangents, but I like that. I've tried to keep note of all the different parts that we took. All right. So where do we go now, Alon, to find more about you and what you're doing?
My personal website is my name, alonshabo.com. There's that report on copywriting that I mentioned earlier, which it's pretty valuable stuff. That site is just up there, though, for basically consulting clients.
Yeah.
I got my fitness site. If anyone wants to check out the work I did there, it's shabofit.com, shabofit.com. And the big focus, but the site is not live yet, it's called Market Bosses, which is marketbosses.com. And we'll be full force in January, and I'm sure we'll talk about that because there's some exciting stuff going on there.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'll make sure that I come back to the show notes and links with this episode to link off to Market Bosses as well. Can I just ask, what's going on with the actual Shabo Fit site? Is it still running? Is it still producing? Or is it kind of just sitting there festering on the goodness that you created before?
Yeah, so I still get decent traffic from having a lot of posts up on high traffic publications like bodybuilding. Surprisingly, my SEO is quite good because people link to me, and I haven't done any SEO stuff. So the traffic's there. I don't do coaching anymore, and I've played with referring clients out or selling applications, and I'm not sure. So it is sort of festering. I'm collecting small affiliate income just passively.
Yeah.
Yeah, I plan to kind of relaunch that when I have the assets, like a team where I don't have to spend too much time on it, because it was my baby, and I'm really proud of the content, and I'm proud of the clients I had there, but no direct coaching. The model initially was screwed up. It was too dependent on me and one-to-one coaching, and even the way I sold it, it made it so when I outsourced the coaching and I had someone, fill my shoes, they're like, "What the hell? We wanted to talk to Alon." So some major restructuring needs to be done, but yeah, my energy isn't there right now. So if anyone has any ideas or wants to work together on kind of making some money there, ping me.
Good. I like that. Do you think it's actually really interesting how by producing really good quality content, your SEO is killing it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I laugh about this all the time. I was like, with one of my sites, it's ranking in US Google on the first page, and I was like, I honestly have no idea with SEO. I simply just produce content. There's one plugin on the back of the WordPress site that's like description, keywords, and like headline. That's it.
Yeah, me too, man. And half of mine are like yellow, like SEO okay. Yeah, I mean, good content is everything, and I think the Google algorithm, for what I understand, is they just want good content. Like you can game it and get ahead and etc. But most of the time, Google will just fuck you up at the end of the day.
Totally. Okay, shit, we're going off another head snapping tangent. We'll come back to this as well.
Never sacrifice the content. That's you. That's my blog post did more work for my business than any sales page or sales email ever did.
Yes. Excellent. And that's why we're here today, brother. That's why we're producing this right now. And we've got your face on the camera, making sure you deliver this good quality stuff. All right, brother. Now, we're going to get you back on. Make sure everyone hits up the links that are going to be in the show notes to click straight off to Alon and mate.
Yeah, just send them to my Facebook. That's the most real thing. That's forever.
Done.
On the links.
Get onto Facey.
Thank you so much for being here, and if you've liked this episode, please share it out and make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out. Now, to really get the most out of you being here, go to turningproacademy.com/start here. There you can get access to the free coaching guide. So if you want to know how to double or triple your clients in just a few weeks, or if you want to start and grow your online business, be sure to head on over to turningproacademy.com/start here to get free access to it now. And as always, I'm so thankful for you being here, and I'm really looking forward to you joining next week in the new episode.